Hola.
Hello. How are you after I was scratching my nose?
Oh, go all the way up. Oh, go all the way up. That tickled my brain. No.
I don't have long nails anymore, so I can't pick at it.
Oh, I poked my eye in the back. No. Here we are. Everything. And I can't wait till I get the music set up the way we used to have it. I got to figure it out one of these years. Like that. It's like you're dancing to that silent song in your head.
Because I'm singing it in my head.
We'll get that going.
Yes, we
We'll,
will one day when
hello,
we get
everybody.
lots of views and people start pouring,
Preparing for the
money
next
our way. And here,
episode.
you guys have the best podcast ever. Here's $1 million. Then we could
Oh,
buy all
yeah.
the greatest equipment and
Absolutely.
kidding,
Absolutely.
kidding,
Yeah.
kidding, kidding. But you never know. Anyway,
It's good to
so
be here.
how have you been?
I'm just peachy, neato, keen, wow, boss man. I know that's an old expression from the 60s. Don't I'm dating myself, but um, you know what? Speaking of dating myself, I just got this clip. We both love comedy. We both, you and I, and we like stand-up comedy a lot. And I've seen this old comedian, I forget his name, but my friend you know, Chris, he sent me a clip on this guy, and we never discussed it. And I read him, I said, I love this guy. And his whole thing, I think he's in his, at least in his 70s. He got into doing this very late in life, like recently, I think. Um, he talks about it. And his whole thing
I
obviously is about being old.
I just posted one of his skits yesterday on my Facebook.
Same
That's so
guy?
weird. Has to be. He's 76 years old. He
Okay.
sits on a stool. He has
Yeah.
glasses on, and all he does is
Oh, God. Love it.
I shared his thing yesterday on my
Love it.
Facebook, and Tommy actually, I sent it to him, and he actually sent me. I said, Tom, I just sent that to you yesterday, and he goes, oh, I was like, because you don't pay attention, but fracking up, he's hilarious.
I wish I had that kind of sense of humor. And on a topic like that, you're thinking about, age and getting older,
Yeah,
and he's just so quick-witted, he goes,
he is, and he's very good. And you know what? He doesn't have a forum where people, a lot of comedians will start off, my mother went to hear them when we were kids, she would smack us inside of the head, and then the audience would laugh, and then they go, yeah, my mother, my mother. Speaking of mothers, and then they would go into a different subject, and it might have to do with a company named Mother. Like they lead
yeah,
one thing into another. He don't.
it's all
He talks all
one-liners.
about old age, but
Yeah,
he
yeah,
doesn't have it where, and I like that because you don't have to have a script. He
yeah.
just says, I was this, and I said had rigor mortis set in, and
I was just thinking that. Yeah, he goes, I thought I had arthritis, but I have early onset rigor mortis. And I'm like,
yes,
oh my God.
and I crack up, and I'm like, this fucking guy is hilarious.
He is.
Oh, it doesn't even say his name. Oh, I would have gave him a shout out. It doesn't even say his name at that,
It's because he's too old. They don't have names anymore. Uh,
It's like he's before BC now. Yeah, he's good though. He's very good. He's
but
hysterical.
it's funny because he makes me think, I know we've busted chops, and I'm a little bit older than you. I'm 83 and you're still like, 49. But um,
He's not
talking about
83, okay, guys.
talk about I did a lot of drugs. And I was actually having a conversation with another high school friend of mine. And I said, I've taken this, and I think you and I have talked about this. I've taken a different approach about, getting older. It's like, I get to be this age. I
Hmm.
got here. I made it this far, as
Right.
opposed to, oh God, look how old I am. And, the best years of my life are behind me, and it's all in the rearview mirror. It's like, screw that. You know, the best can be yet to come. It's my perspective. Yeah, it's different. As you know, we talk about getting older and the body doesn't
Of,
function the way it used to.
of
And,
course.
those things are difficult. However, there is something to, I don't want to make it sound like a cliche saying, but to grow old more gracefully, or
Hmm.
at least maybe a little more wisely. You know, I mean, I was saying to one kid, I said, it's one thing to be young and stupid. it's something else to be old and stupid,
Right.
and try to learn from that, and but
We all have a problem with something. I think we always will. Everybody themselves individually is their own critic, whether it's how we look, how we dress, how much weight we gained, how much weight we lost, how our clothes feel, how our this feels. We have bags under our eyes, we have wrinkles setting it. No matter what's going on, everyone is their own critic. I'll look at you and I could say you're very handsome and you're this, and you'll be like, oh my God, but look what happened to me. And I'm like, but I don't see what you're seeing in yourself. I could say, oh my God, I'm so fat, I'm disgusting. And yeah, obviously you could see I'm heavy, but somebody else will say, but you know what? You're beautiful just the way you are. And
don't see that at all. Yeah,
we never take the good compliment because we don't feel, but like I know what you're saying. Like we're always gonna say, "Oh my God, I can't." Like I do it. I'll go, "Oh my God, I can't believe I got the bags under my eyes. I got wrinkles from probably when I smoked years ago." And of course, nobody wants to grow old, but if you are, we were talking about plastic surgeries. You
Mm.
have money, you want to do it. If it makes you feel good, that's fine. But a lot of botch jobs happen. And people are aging on top of all this plastic surgery. You don't look good. You should have just aged. You would have looked 20 times
Well,
better.
I take a firm stance on that. I believe that you should just be who you are, but we live in a culture that doesn't, especially in America. America worships youth.
Yeah, without it.
Whereas, we talk a lot about Asian culture. Asian cultures, they revere the elderly. It's a whole different mindset. They
You know
they,
what's
they
sad about
revere all.
today and today's fucking kids, how stupid they are? You went for plastic surgery to look younger when you were already older. You started noticing things and you were like, and then, again, you have to have money for this. So you get stuff fixed. These doctors today, the past few years, and all these celebrities are telling the younger people, start doing the Botox now. Because as you get older,
Yeah,
you know what? And as these young kids with no fucking common sense, I'm sorry, and they're not young, they're not babies. Some of them are in their late 20s and some of their 30s.
and they start. I've never
You're
heard
an
that. They start
adult.
that young. Wow.
You're an adult. Yeah, you're an adult. Listen, I know.
Wow.
I even my niece, I love her. She's guilty. She does it with her lips and stuff. And you know what? You got to stop at some point because you're listening. It's all commercial bullshit. It's just another way
Well,
of
that's what it is. It's like
people
instead of
getting
being.
money, money, money. And you got to tell the youth of today they should start now because they won't grow old like they're supposed to, and they'll look good, and
Now,
and
let me
these
say
kids
this.
don't fall for it.
Let me take another approach. I'm not against if somebody, has a bone protruding out of the top of the bridge of their nose and they want it
Plastic surgery, that's
straightened.
fine. That's different.
Right. There's things, but the cosmetic stuff to appear more glamorous, I think is bullshit. You know, um, the light shines from within. Yeah, you want to have a decent appearance and be attractive, but to the extremes that they're going, like you're
Right.
talking about,
No.
it's all. And again, comparing to some sort of image or some status, what's that phrase? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm.
So you're going to compare it to somebody else and some other, you know, magazine
Listen, I am not gonna
model.
lie and act like the phony. I have I call them the 11s. I hate them. I hate them. The creases are so bad and deep. And I always said if I had, but that's the thing.
Oh, I thought that was 111. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can't believe you just fucking said that.
Sorry. Uh,
Wow. Anyway,
mine,
um,
mine are like Roman numerals, like Charles Manson. I got an X on my forehead. Sorry.
I don't see it, but anyway, um, like a little bit, a little won't hurt. And not every month, not every week, because they say you got to keep up with it. All right, no, no, no. I don't have all the money to do that. If I did, even if I had the money, I would probably like to get a little plump touch up so they spread out. They're not going to disappear no matter how you look at it. unless you fucking explode my Montana-sized forehead. And
I think it looks like character. It's life. You've lived. You look fine.
but again, it's gonna get. But as I get older, I'm really not gonna care as much. I'm still gonna wear makeup and do my hair and whatever, and I'm gonna look my age.
They're like
I still
Barbie.
look
It's
my
been a few
age.
years. It's now 1011. Good to see you. No, so, but
See, it's people like him that are fucked up because it's bad enough you telling him what bothers you, so he has to add. See, Chris is like the zingery person. He just takes the knife and he has little ridges on it and he just twists it more and more and more until
wow.
like fire comes out of your head and your ears. Take notice to that, people.
Take
He
notice
just,
of that.
he
I'm gonna
just
start getting all the nasty messages. You leave her alone, you bastard. Um,
well, I would appreciate that. At least at least people, not for me, at least people will be typing, but no,
they
I'm
like he's picking on me. Make him stop. So and, and then I disappear. I all of a sudden I mysteriously don't show up for the next podcast. Pretty good.
But
Um,
yeah, no. But again, people take it too far. Too
yeah.
far. They do too much at one time. Then they get
Well, is
used
it?
to it and they keep up with it too quick before they should. And then they get used to it and then they let it all get to them to the point, like even with the lip injections. I wear lip liner to make my lips look a little bit more fuller. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to fucking wear this lip liner. My lips are getting all like, I would like to have a little fuller lip, but again, you do it one time and then you wait and then so you don't look like you're sucking on a fucking, like chrome. It's like these women are doing
Oh,
it or their lip, I mean, it literally looks like they're getting it's like this. Who wants to look
well,
like that? And you're getting
but
your face stretched out, and it's like, no, you look horrible.
deep down, think about it. Is it really all that? You know, the subconscious fear of death.
It could be, yeah, because they
Because
don't want
like
to die and they want to
you're
look
not going to be young
youthful and
forever. You're
oh,
going to die. So
yeah.
you're going to be what, a better looking corpse. I mean, you're still dead. You know, and like I said, I think about the seasons. Too. I don't like this to change the seasons. I'm
Oh,
living in the wrong part of the country.
yeah, me
I don't
too.
like things dying. I like things always to be vibrant, green, and lush and colorful. But it's not the cycle of life.
No.
Um, but I still will admit, you know, would I like to have years back? Of course. You know, I think a lot of people would. I think I'm pretty accurate in saying we like to do a lot of do overs in their life and have time.
Shoulda,
You know,
coulda, wouldas, of course. If we
yeah,
knew
but we
what
don't.
we know
So we have
now,
to.
we would of course change things, but we can't.
You can't. So you start from now. I read this thing where life is like a game. I like chess a lot. So and they had like a chess piece
Right.
on this little uh, sign that said, life is a game. You can't undo a move. You could just make another one, make a new move,
Right.
and that's it. I can't undo the moves I've made, but make a better one, make a
Isn't
smarter one.
that something else that you reminded me of a while back ago about I forgot exactly what the quote was about crossing the street,
Oh,
changing the
yeah.
road or something, and
Yeah, I'm trying to paraphrase. I get it right, but person is walking down a sidewalk and then is not paying attention, looking on their phone or whatever, and falls into this hole, this ditch. Person climbs out of the hole. God, just and then keeps walking, and then is in a hurry, and think maybe they see this ditch and they're going to jump over it and they don't make it and they fall in, so in and again. And then, uh, the poor person keeps on walking and then they're in a hurry and they see this ditch. Oh my God, there it is. And they just kind of, swerve around it. And the further they keep going, the person says, you know what, I'm just going to cross the street and avoid the ditches anyway. Along that. I'm paraphrasing it. It's a bad
right.
paraphrase, but,
But that's like life. You
take,
gotta
take a
cross
different
a
street.
different street, right? You
Yeah.
gotta Just change the street you're walking on or you've
Right,
been walking on. Because the street you've been going to basically is there's a lot of bumps and
right,
you're always gonna face that unless you
right,
decide to cross and change the street or go to an
right.
that's where we'll see the change. That's where you'll go, okay, it's a little bit smoother on this road and I
Yeah.
like this and let me look for a different path. Maybe I'll find a better street and it's
And
true.
what I've, for me, what I've thought about is sometimes those ditches, those, you know, holes in the road, they could be people. That could be an
Without
analogy
a
for a
doubt.
person, a relationship,
Could
a
be
job.
anything,
Uh,
anything negative, anything
yeah,
that's not set right. It could be it could mean anything,
yeah.
especially like you said, people. And most of us go through that with people in our lives
Think
or
about it.
around us.
Or I was thinking to myself, what is the stuff that fills my brain? What is this the shit that's in my head all the time? The narrative that I replay in my head. It's about people. What people did, what people didn't do, what they said, what they didn't say, how they said it. You know, what that's all the shit that's in there. And it's sometimes it's just like, if I had a valve, just dump all that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, obviously we live in a world of people. We have to relate and react and respond. And relationships are the heart of living in this world. However, how much of that affects my choices and how I look at myself and the perspective that I have, toward life itself. Um, One of the greatest quotes that I heard over within the past year so stuck with me, where this one uh, Indian guru teacher who I respect, he has a podcast. He said, the one greatest thing that you need to focus on in your life, and again, I'm paraphrasing,
Right.
more than anything else, the most important thing is how you experience the profundity of your life, how you experience how profound your life really is.
Hmm.
And I thought about it, I'm like, wow, that's like cracking my skull open. How do I experience, you know, how profound life, and do I even, am I aware of that?
Hmm.
Just getting up in the morning, and if you've heard this, all the expressions, count your blessings, have an attitude of gratitude and all that. But where does that really, you know, affect me in my core, not just a saying in my head,
Right.
you know, or I'm going to count my blessings, but really as a way of my default setting, how I function, you know,
Mm-hmm.
my default setting is anger.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get angry over the smallest little thing, and it's like, I become a terrorist, of anger, because that's what's
And I right, but that's
inside
what
of me.
used to be caught right. And I feel like I do too. Like I have a short fuse lately as I've gotten older with things because it might not be the same exact thing, but it's on the ver of and it's stuff that has piled up that is a continuous struggle.
Mm,
And if yeah, you could easily say, to brush it off today. Depending on your mood.
yeah,
Sometimes you're already prepared for it and you're
yeah,
like, I'm not gonna let it get to me.
yeah,
It might a little bit, but you handled it better than you thought you could. But
yeah,
then later on or tomorrow, the same situation might occur, and you're like, not today.
mm,
Like not today. And then the next day, it again, it's like when something continuous feels like it's happening and
yeah.
your anger just builds up more and you find yourself short fused. Years have gone by, and it's like, when am I going to catch a tiny
Well,
break?
that's a good point. And like you said, years ago, speaking of aging, you know, I forget who said it, but I read that, one of the greatest creator of depression and anger uh, is unresolved grief. And the older I've gotten, and through the losses I've experienced in my life, loved ones passing away, the scars that those leave, you know, as you know, we get through them, but you never really get over them.
No,
There's a difference,
no.
and I'm grateful that I've found ways to get through it. Sometimes, as you can probably attest to, you never think you're going to get through it. Losing a loved one.
No, as it's
At the time,
happening,
how am I going to get through
no.
this? You find that you do, but it leaves a hole. There's
Of
a,
course it does.
I've equated it to having life as a large house, and that person occupied a room, and now that room is empty,
Yeah,
and the room is there, and maybe I have the door closed, and maybe I don't go in there much,
yeah.
but it's there. But I occupy other rooms in the house mostly. That's my little way of looking at it sometimes. But
And that just brought a tear to my eye. Time. Anyway,
virtual hug.
yeah, that just because it just it hit. Wow, that was that was good. Oof.
I think about it a lot more. I do.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
Lately what's been also happening, oh, here it comes. It's timing. Here comes Tangy. Oh, Tangeroo. Can you just left 15 more minutes? No. Um, he's gonna walk by the computer.
That's
Don't step
okay.
on
It's
it.
all right.
You want to walk by? Come on, hurry up. Here he
I
goes.
can't.
Don't stand in front of the camera.
He's breaking up the monotony.
Come on. There we go. He heard me. He heard you. But I think a lot about my parents and grandparents and what they went through and with raising me and all that. And as I'm, in my 60s now, and I think about, wow, just how they experienced life in those later years, or maybe in the stuff I never even thought about, because when you're
Right.
young, you don't think it's all you're
No.
biologically self-centered to think about me and
Right. Your
what I'm
parents don't
doing.
let you see basically everything that you
You
do.
can't, right?
They
There's
don't
no way.
let you,
But
they don't tell you what they're feeling. They don't tell you you're a child. You're supposed to see it, or maybe they avoid showing you, or
well, yeah, and it's so busy raising kids and living their lives. But my maybe I'm not saying it accurately, but trying to put myself in their position. What was it like for them at that age to be living in this situation with certain illnesses in the family
right.
and the losses at that time and the financial hardships they had, and given the limited resources they had available, what they did with it and how they made it work and the sacrifices they made,
Right.
and you're gonna sit down, not there. Anyway,
I see
um,
you.
so like I was saying, but and speaking of age,
Oh,
he's 20 years old.
yeah.
He's 20, and we hope we have him for as long as we have him. But he's getting old. He's don't step on the computer.
We all age, including
We
our
all do,
animals.
you know.
And I don't see him reaching into his little pocket with his paw and going for Botox. He still looks like he did when he was a year old.
Yeah, he's aged pretty well. I have to say, I give him a lot of credit. He's you know, I I fight with Marion all the time because she goes, "You're too rough with him. You're too rough with him," you know, and I think I know what I'm doing. I don't hurt him. I never, but she's the cuddler. He
Right,
goes to her for the cuddles, but he
right.
comes to me when he wants to play,
Of course.
and or I'm the one that feeds him. So I'm the food bank.
Oh
But
yeah.
I said to her, "That's why he's in such good shape."
Right.
I spin him around,
Swing him around a little bit. I
yeah,
know.
look, ceiling fan, take a ride. But run fast. Exactly, So, but so I said, you have me to thank for him being in such great shape. He's like a gymnast. But yeah, I mean, with age, and navigating the losses and the grief, that's been, I think, one of my greatest challenges, and looking back, talking about my family, my parents, more gratitude,
Yeah.
and saying, any grudges I may have had to my parents. My parents were separated since I was 3 months old. I never had a real,
Right.
mom and dad family. In the earlier life, there was, resentment and not forgiving family, and the older I get now, it's like I don't have any complaints.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm here. You did what you did with what you had. You had a life, you had a childhood that I know nothing about, but you had your life, and I have just more of nothing, just but being thankful.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that you did for me and all that you couldn't do. Whatever. I'm on my own now. It's my choices now.
Right.
There's nothing more no blame,
Right.
and that took 40 years to learn.
Right. And it's a
I'm still
shame that
learning.
we have to learn these things after the fact. I mean, and then you do. You sit and you go, wow. And I think about you lost your father at a young age.
He was 52.
Your mom had her own struggles. May God
He
bless
did.
her. May she
He
rest
did.
in
Yeah.
peace. And she still
Yeah.
managed to raise you with all her and whatever she's got. And then when you think about it, like you're not in her shoes, you weren't in her shoes. But look at the wonderful person you turned out to be.
Serial killer. No. Um,
That's
but
wonderful. No, at least it gave you the knowledge on how
I've
to
got an
keep always get
80% success rate now.
it. No, but
No,
seriously,
I'm
like,
joking. But
they might have had a separate life but you know, we
no,
all
sometimes
we
I
all
feel
do
like
that. We all do that in our
I,
when you're young, you don't.
I've often felt like I've been, oftentimes the most horrible person in the world. The way I look at myself, and I thought I've been, you know, I've often told people the most depressing person I ever met in my life was me. And because I live with my thoughts 24/7, and I know what goes on in my head,
Mm,
and I often not proud of it and ashamed in a lot of ways that I've thought, and even how I behaved and treated people. But I look to be better.
yeah,
I look at like the chess piece. I made a lot of bad moves, but now I want to make better moves. I want to make,
right.
and start now. Start now.
Yeah,
And
really.
we are, we are. So aging becomes for me more of a, we got here. You are
Right.
at your point, I'm at my point, but we're here, and we're just going to take,
Right.
step.
Not every day is smooth, and we do
No,
it. No, I'm not always all happy and full of smiles. I'm sick of hearing myself. I got a lot of issues, but we get through them the best way. I complain to you constantly. You'll tell me things, and I'll tell and it's like, it gets to be a pain in the ass at times, but it's life, and this is it. And like I said, I've told you before, I think about all the shit my mom went through. She had a
yeah,
lot of health problems.
yeah,
And then I think about it and I go, she was a strong bitch.
yeah,
She got through it, and sometimes you did not hear my mother complain. You knew it,
yeah,
and we would talk to her mom. What's the matter? But she got through it. Even my dad, tall guy, big guy, he had physical job. He used
yeah,
to complain about his knees cracking, which I have the problem. Spurs, his feet. I have spurs. It was like, thanks, Dad. We all made fun, and then I think back. My father also was another one who died very young.
right,
But I remember him coming home and tired. And I do a lot of physical work. So the pain that I'm in is because of that. And then I overdo what I shouldn't do. And then I get it. I see him and I go, now
yeah,
I understand all
yeah,
his complaints. We
right,
were kids, we were like, yeah, all right, daddy's
right, yeah,
complaining again. Oh, his Spurs, that jingle jangle, yeah,
yeah,
stupid. And you don't,
yeah,
what is he complaining about again? And what is it? And
yeah.
now I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually at his age.
Yeah.
He
It's
only
like
lived to
now,
be
now it's
50
like,
fucking
and I can remember my grandparents saying, they would joke to say, don't get old, Christopher, don't get old,
I hear it every
because
day.
Terrible thing. And oh, then my mother would say, someday you'll understand. Someday. And that's like, holy shit. Now it's that
It
someday.
explodes in your
Now,
face. Yes, it does. And
or
it's so
as you hear,
true.
most parents will say, wait till you have kids someday.
Yes.
Wait till that happens. And then you're gonna realize,
Uh-huh. You're
oh
gonna have
shit,
one just like you, or
yeah,
it doesn't matter. It all works out, and you always say to yourself, "Oh, I sound just like my father. Oh
right,
shit, I sound just like my mother." You
yeah.
don't realize it until you're telling someone in a younger version. You go, "Don't do that because they're gonna," and then you go, "Oh my God, my mother used to tell me that." You don't think you're gonna act like your parents, but you
And
do.
I start using the same expressions. My father, one of the few sayings that I remember, he said to me, again, speaking about getting older, aging, he said, where you're going, I've been,
Ah, right.
and it's just like, oh, thank you, honorable dad, father, son,
Yeah,
words of wisdom,
right,
and,
right, right,
but, and I remember telling some of my students that when they're frustrated with their practicing. I said, listen, where you're going, I've been. I'm still learning, but I know the struggles you are trying to learn your technique at this point, reading music, and I get
right,
it. If it was easy, everybody would do it, but it's not. But
right.
if you enjoy this and you persevere and give yourself a little more patience and have a little more fun with it, um, you'll get there. And those lessons served me well. In
Yeah, right.
various ways. But I just got the alert. Our time is fast approaching, like a vampire in the sun. The lights out. You know, we have to hurry
Sorry.
up.
Oh wait, that's water.
Yeah, I know. My God. Oh,
But no, this was a great podcast. It was a great conversation.
thanks for listening to me,
It
Jenny.
always is. And sometimes we just get on these subjects, like we might have spoken about them privately before. And to bring it out there to everybody, I think is wonderful because they could relate to it. And for
Yeah,
those of you
hopefully
that
that will
are
here.
relating to this, we might bring up the same subject numerous times through podcasts because it always blends into our conversation. So don't get
Right.
sick of it. I mean, we could tell each other, I heard that already, but we are who we are.
Yeah.
We care about each other. We care about everybody around us. We want to know how you feel. Did you
Please.
come across these experiences or just butt in? Ask us questions about our life if you want to. We'll feel free to write back and tell you anything you want to know. And just really, we enjoy
We want to hear from you.
fact
Thank you.
of
We appreciate your
you
feedback.
being able to send us feedback or just get involved. And we thank you for
Absolutely.
watching every single time. We
Thank you.
love you and we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Till
Have a
next
beautiful
time.
day. Till next time. Everything and
Bye.
nothing. All right. Bye bye.
Bye.